Hi, my name's Elise, and this will be my first video blog ever. Um, I just thought it would be a good idea to share some of the things that I've gone through in my short 18, almost 19 years of life, and hopefully this will reach a lot of people and help a lot of people that are going through the same thing. So a few things that just about me that you might need to know are I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 17, and I think the exact date was May 26th of 2010. It was first thought to be ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, but after DNA testing, the doctors came back and told me that it was worse than what they thought. It was actually chronic myelogenous leukemia in the blast phase crisis, which is the fourth and final stage. So wasn't the greatest news that I could get in my graduating year, but a lot of people have been there to help me through it. One of the big things that you probably should know is I have a boyfriend. We're going on 3 years dating, and he's been with me like the whole time, going through like everything. His name's Dustin, and I'm really close with his family. I actually live with him and his family, but only until the end of the summer, so things are changing for me right now. I'm just finishing up my year of recuperation that the doctors ordered, and hopefully in September I'll be able to go back to school, which I'm really excited for. I tell Dustin every day, I'm so excited to go to school, and he's like, yeah, I know, you tell me every day. When I was diagnosed, it was the weirdest thing because I've never been that close to in contact. I've never even like been in a hospital. I think the last time I was in a hospital before last year was when I stuck a bead up my nose because I thought it was a booger, and my mom told me that boogers belong in my nose, and that was like when I was like 5 years old. So Dustin actually, he brought me to the hospital on the night of the 25th, and it was because in my left eye, this eye, even though it looks like the right one to you guys, there was a blind spot, and it was about like this big, and I could see around it, and it was like blurry. It was orange in color, and it just scared the shit out of me. Like, I called him, I was crying, and so he took me to the hospital. He took me to one that we thought would be quicker than going to the two major ones in Edmonton, but it didn't turn out to be that way. We actually waited. We got there, I think, around midnight, and we waited until 3 or 3:30 until someone actually brought us into a waiting room, checked my eyes and all of that, and then they sent us to another hospital to get like retina testing, and so we had an appointment for 7 o'clock, so he brought me there, and then the people at the Royal Alex actually told me to go to another doctor, a specialist, a retina specialist, because they had no idea what was going on. And they like took all these tests, and like I got a needle, and it was so scary because I hate needles, absolutely hate them. And so I went to this doctor, and he actually admitted me back to the hospital, and they took my blood and tested it, and I told my family, and everyone came and visited me during the day. And by about like 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night on the 26th, everyone was they were like home, and I said like I'd be fine. They thought it was just a bacterial infection, and after some antibiotics and like a weekend in the hospital, I should be okay. But after Dustin left, which was probably around like 7:30, and he was on his way home, like 10 minutes out the door of the hospital, another doctor came in and gave me some of the worst news of my life. So the doctor came in, and it was weird because I didn't know who he was, and like the nurses were really nice. So one of the nurses came in. She brought me like a Jello cup. I think it was lemon Jello or something. And so he sat me up. At this point, I think I was up for like 36 hours straight, and I was almost like dead in the water. I was so tired. And so he sat me up. They turned on the lights, and I was like, oh, what what the hell is going on now? Like, I'm so tired, just let me sleep. But he was like, let's turn on those lights, let's see that pretty face of yours. And I was like, okay, whatever, he seems nice. So then he's like, so I looked at your blood count, and we're actually going to transfer you to the University of Alberta Hospital because your blast cell count is 160, and there's immature blood cells in your blood, and your blood is leukemic. And he sort of said it like it was nothing, and it wasn't nothing, because he pretty much just told me that I had cancer and there's no one there with me. And I just remember me calling my family and just like telling them that I'm getting transferred, and then I called Dustin, and he was like just leaving the parking lot. He's like, do you want me to come back in? Like, I don't know what this means. And I told him that I didn't know what it meant and that I wanted him to go home and sleep because he might like crash into someone if he doesn't get enough sleep. So I told him to go home, and that I'd call him when I knew more about what they were telling me. Like, the first thought that went through my head is, if they tell me that my blood is leukemic, does that actually mean I have cancer? Does that mean I have leukemia, or can they fix it right away? But after like 20 minutes, I was just like bawling my eyes out. I knew that what he told me was going to change my life forever.